Hey guys, I'm back and we are in Chapter 8. We're working with special layer functions in this chapter, and we are in our textbook Adobe Photoshop Creative Cloud Revealed by Elizabeth Eisner Redding. Now we will, in this exercise, open 8-1 PSD from the drive and save it as soccer. Mine's already open, so I'm going to just do a save as soccer underscore my name, and you can see I've done that before. I'm going to replace it. Okay. All right, now you want to make sure that you have the default foreground and background colors button chosen, which I do, or clicked. That gives you the default colors of black for foreground and white for background. You want to make sure that the rulers are displayed, which they are in my document. And you can do control click or a right click on those rulers, control click if you're on a Mac, and change the units of measure if you choose to do that. In addition, you can click, drag, and drop this little corner crosshairs up to the upper left-hand corner to make sure that the 0 point starts in the upper left-hand corner of your document. In addition, we want to make sure that we have the Adobe Photoshop Photography workspace chosen, which I do. All right. I'm going to again narrow that up a bit so we can see more of the panels as well. All right, you want to click on the soccer field layer to make sure that that's the active layer. So if you go to your layers panel, you'll see the soccer field. Make sure that that's the active layer, and you do that by clicking on it. Then we're going to get the rectangular marquee tool in your toolbox, which is right here. M is the quick key. And we're going to change the feather setting on that if you need to. And the feather is up here in this options bar. You want to change it to 10 pixels, and that kind of softens the edges of the selection. And then we're going to drag the marquee pointer around your object. It goes from 50 X and Y to 1150 X and 750 Y. And let's see if we can get that. I'm going to just zoom out here for a minute. And we're going to click and drag from about, there's about 100, so it'll be 50 right about here. And you can make this, rulers show smaller numbers if you zoom in on it more carefully. But no, I don't really like that all that well, so I'm going to try that again. I think it cuts it off a little bit tighter than what we want it, so I'm going to go clear up here. If you just go visually anyway, actually I'm going to do that again because it is, they do, now that I look at it more closely, they do have it practically right at their heads. Okay, I'm going to let that suffice even though it's not exact, and I can tell that it's not exact. But we've made the marquee selection, and then we're going to go to Layer on the menu bar, and we're going to point to Layer Mask, and we are going to Reveal Selection. And there you go. Now we are going to make a selection for a layer mask, and you'll see in the textbook that there is a just a little brief description about layer masks as compared to vector masks. A layer mask is resolution dependent, and it's edited with painting or selection tools. Whereas a vector mask, and you know the ones, a vector-based software like Illustrator, well, you can make vector-based masks in Photoshop, and that one is resolution independent, and it's created with a pen or a shape tool. Both masks are non-destructive, and they can be edited without any loss of your original data. A layer mask thumbnail provides or displays a grayscale channel, while a vector mask thumbnail displays a path. It's just on different panels basically. A vector mask will create a very sharp edged shape. It's useful when you want to add a design element with a clean, well-defined edge. And then multiple styles can be applied to a vector mask. So we are going to go to the opposition layer on the layers panel. So we're looking for opposition and we're going to make that visible, and you're going to click on it to make sure that it's selected. And then we're going to change the feather setting on the options bar for this particular selection, and you still want to get your rectangular marquee tool selected. And we're going to change those to 0 pixels for the selection for feathering. And then we're going to drag the marquee pointer from approximately 250x30y to 435x to 360y. It just surrounds the 2 players wearing the striped jerseys. And your measurements are going to be just a little bit different like mine are, but close is good in this particular instance. So we've changed the feather settings and we've made the selection. And then once we've created the selection, we can click the Edit and Quick Mask mode at the bottom of the Tools panel to create a mask that can be saved as a selection. And when you click Edit in Quick Mask mode, a red overlay displays. So again, you can click the Edit in the Quick Mask mode button at the bottom of the Tools panel. So if you go right down here to this little tool here, you'll see that that's the Edit in Quick Mask mode. Q is a quick key. And that you'll see that when you click that, a red overlay displays. You can use any painting tool to form a shape in and around the selection. When your mask is finished, you're just going to click the Edit and Standard Mode button again, and the shape will be outlined by a marquee. So for example, if I wanted to change that selection up some, yeah, that brush is a little bit big, so I'm going to do a Command Z. And I'm going to back off on this brush. And I'm going to change it to just a very simple brush if I can find one. I want to make sure the hardness is at 100%, and I'm just going to back up on this size. And then you'll see that I have my brush and the black is in the foreground. I'm going to go just a little bit further. And I want to paint out that dude in the front. And I don't know if the textbook asks you to do this or not, but this is a good exercise for you to understand. And now we're editing in Quick Mask mode. We have a brush and we're painting in black with a foreground color. And you'll see in just a moment what I'm doing is changing the selection. Oh geez, I didn't quite want that. All right, so now we're going to go back and edit in standard mode, Q, and you'll see that I've changed that selection, so I've bumped out that guy. Now I can save that if I want to. So we are going to go up to select and we're going to save that selection, and I'm going to call this I'll call this striped guys alone. And click OK. And now that selection is saved. And I'll be back in just a moment to demo some other things.